I think souvenirs should come from where you bought them.
They should.
Yeah.
But I really, really regretted not getting this.
Like,
when
I
was
have
there.
some Christmas ornaments from Hawaii that were made in Hawaii.
Yeah.
My dad used to go to what's called the Fiddlers Convention.
Yeah.
And he bought a Christmas ornament at the Fiddlers Convention.
Yeah.
And inside it, there's a little note, and he says, look at the back.
Yeah.
And I look at the back, and it said made in Lafayette, Indiana, where I was born.
Oh.
So
Okay.
that story goes nowhere.
I loved it. I just... Apparently there's chili on the side of this chair.
It ain't got no gas in it. You see there, Scooter? Thinks of the simplest things first.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. The white zone is for immediate loading and unloading only. There's no parking in the white zone. Please welcome your hosts, Mike and Darin.
Hey, I'm Mike.
I'm Darin.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. This is episode 110.
Got nothing for 110 other than we're still here.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to talk about... I was assaulted, Darin. I was assaulted in one of my most vulnerable positions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I was out and about. I was wearing an Irritable Dad Syndrome t-shirt, and somebody recognized my shirt and claimed to recognize me, but I think they were wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have something to say about some Facebook posts that have been pissing me off, attacking video games, and I'm going to set the record straight, and I'm going to defend the video games. Spoiler.
Good deal. Okay, and then I want to discuss further what we were talking about last week about the word yummy. And the last thing we're going to talk about tonight is Dave Lay. You know, he has been working on his ventriloquism act. We're going to see a return of Peppy.
Okay.
It's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang tight. How you been?
Good. We saw the Roman god Jupiter.
No
and
way.
moons. We saw the moons.
The moons of Jupiter.
So
Okay.
I'm going to talk about the Dahmer show
Okay.
a little bit later.
Okay.
I just finished watching that.
Okay.
And I'm going to bed. It's 10 p.m.
Okay.
I'm turning it off.
Yeah.
I feel bad because of the show.
Yeah.
And I hear knocking at our back door.
Was
at
it Jupiter?
At 10 p.m. No.
Oh.
No.
That'd be creepy.
It was one of my kids.
Uh-huh.
Outside. He'd locked himself outside.
How long was your kid outside?
I don't know.
Before you knew?
I don't know. It was an hour-long show. So,
Do you know which kid it was?
yeah, it was Andrew, the
older one.
So he comes in, and then Charlie comes in. Charlie always has a grin on his face.
Right.
And he walked in. He's like, we were looking for Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
And the smartass that I am, I wanted to say, oh, it's up in the sky. But I did. I was like,
Right.
what's going on?
It's
and then
right
Andrew
past
said,
Uranus.
Wow. And Andrew said, yeah, you can see it. Jupiter is visible tonight. So we go out the front. We're all excited, and there's tons of clouds.
Okay.
We can't see it. So
Right.
we stand out there
Stupid clouds.
Stand out there for a few minutes, but eventually the clouds clear, and we see, Darin or Andrew. You can edit that out. Andrew's using a Starfinder app, and that is Jupiter.
Uh-huh.
And then we see Saturn over here.
Okay.
Okay. A visual. I'm using my hands.
Right.
and
On an
people can't
audio
see that.
podcast. Yeah.
And so we have.
So Saturn was here.
Yeah.
And Jupiter was here.
Well, over a little bit. And
There?
then, so we
I'm just
have
trying to get an idea.
So we have stargazing binoculars, Celestron or something. Whatever.
Okay.
They're ungodly huge. They're like 2 feet long.
Uh-huh.
The end that looks out towards the stars is about the size of like a tea saucer thing. They're big.
Uh-huh.
You have to use them with a tripod. So I go get that thing set up.
Okay.
I'm in the driveway. Where we usually park our cars.
Right.
And I aim it at Jupiter. The kids have gone back inside because there's football on. And I'm aiming and I'm looking, and then I focus it in, and I see Jupiter. Like I can see the lines like very faintly.
Okay.
But I see 4 stars. Like, look, they're not stars. They're the moons
The
around
moons
it.
of Jupiter.
And
yeah.
I said, and I quote, holy shit.
Yeah.
And I ran inside. I'm like, you can see the moons. They run outside. They're excited. We saw Jupiter and all the moons. And then we tried to aim at Saturn. I couldn't see the rings. By then, my knees were starting because we had to kneel down.
Looking at planets is painful.
Driveway.
Yeah.
It can be painful because you can't hold these binoculars weigh about 10, 15 pounds.
Right.
You can't hold them steady. And something that far away, you can't see it. So you have to be on the tripod.
Right.
And by the time we got to Saturn, I'm like, I will look at Saturn.
Well,
some
it's
other
not
time.
like you can lock down your telescope and keep it, fixed on an object because the Earth moves and then all the planets move.
Yeah.
And did you notice how flat Jupiter is?
Yeah.
Because like all the planets,
Yeah.
Jupiter is flat.
You could see
flat
the little,
as a damn pancake.
You could see the Jupiterans sliding off.
Yeah. For years people have been worried about the Martians coming to attack us.
Yeah.
But those sons of bitches on Jupiter, they're the ones who you need to watch for.
They got to deal with all those winds.
Yeah.
Something behind that great red spot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So anyway, that was our night.
Now, you mentioned you had been watching Dahmer.
Jesus.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm going to tell you something.
Okay.
So I don't know how much you know about serial killers, but
Not as much as you'd think.
if you're looking at cereals, cereals,
Right, like cornflakes, Raisin
Fruit
Bran.
Loops.
Yeah,
Dahmer,
Chex Mix.
Dahmer's kind of like the Honey Nut Cheerios, or like one of the more famous.
Okay.
That infamous. People know Dahmer.
Yes.
When you eat Dahmer, somebody's eating somebody.
They
That's
know
what he did.
Dahmer. They know John Wayne Gacy.
And so I've seen some movies of Dahmer.
Yeah.
And he had a rough life, and he created a rough life for many people.
Oh, yes. He ended rough lives for a lot of people, too.
And so I started there's a new series on Netflix.
It's on
a
the
10
Netflix.
episode, and I started watching it, and boy, that thing is that's a downer.
Really?
It's not-
So you're hoping for a laugh,
Yeah.
maybe something warm and fuzzy to tuck you in bed at night,
It's-
and no, is a downer.
It's disturbing.
Yeah.
So I for a while there, I read a lot of books about serial killers and the FBI, hunting them down.
Right.
John Douglas. I read all of John Douglas's books.
Which one was the circus clown?
John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy. Okay,
So
that
I knew.
son of a bitch creeps me out.
Yeah. So the case that they're showing at the beginning where he meets the guy in the bar and takes him and the guy escapes,
Right.
I knew all the details of that. And the whole time I'm like, wow, they put you in that place. And
Right.
the actor that's playing Dahmer is doing all of his, like, the way he was described in the interviews. He's got that down. He's got that weird look down. All the idiosyncrasies, like as you're watching him act and be that, you're like, oh. So when they were talking about he had a problem connecting with people and didn't quite, he would just say weird. It's all there.
Right.
And it's just disturbing.
Yeah.
And he had not the best upbringing. Now,
Okay.
I will say, I don't throw stones at anybody.
Right.
But I think
He who lives in a glass house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when I'm comparing what I see as far as the parenting going on with Dahmer, I think we're doing a little bit better job with
You know
our
what?
kids.
When I compare myself to those parents, I say the same damn thing.
No.
I'm not that bad.
It's kind of like watching.
Sure, I let my kids eat
Yeah.
Frosted Flakes for dinner. Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
My kids aren't serial killers.
It's like watching Jerry Springer. It's like, yeah, I will end a family meeting and drive down the street and get Snickers bars at a drop of a hat and not think twice about it.
Yeah.
But I'm not like wearing a Klan hood at dinner
no.
and throwing knives at my kids.
Getting mustard on it.
I'm not
Damn
doing
it.
those.
Yeah.
Those stains just never come out.
They don't.
Yeah.
I don't care how much,
Yeah.
bleach you put on there.
So
but
I told Bess, I was like, I think I don't want to be too presumptuous, but I think we're doing a little bit better than Dahmer's parents.
Right.
And she just looked at me. She's like, what have you been watching?
Now, see, you had mentioned something about it, and I thought, well, I'd heard a couple other people talk about Dahmer. So I watched a little bit of it this morning while eating my banana and my cereal.
You should not eat anything while watching that.
It's like, man, this food's making me starving. And then I watched
It's
the
like
rest
doing
of it.
carpentry while you're watching Saw. You don't do it.
But I watched the rest of it again while eating at lunch.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, wow.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how they did it, because usually the guy doesn't get caught until the end of a series.
Yeah, they show where he get caught.
They show where he get caught at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we're spoiling anything for anybody.
Yeah, Dahmer got
Everybody
caught.
knows that he got caught,
Yeah.
went to prison, served.
Like a couple of minutes, and then he was stabbed.
No, his head got bashed in.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, in prison.
Okay.
And he was convicted of 15 murders. So he got 15 life sentences, which I love when they say, you're going to serve those consecutively.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to serve a life sentence. They're going to leave you in there for the second one.
I think every profession has the phrase that they want to say. Like somebody,
is the word consecutive? We're going to...
I think I think film directors, people going to school to be a director, eventually are excited about the first day that they get to say action.
Action, yeah.
And I think that a prosecutor going through law school and everything are excited about the first time they get to say 5 life sentences consecutive.
Right,
And they just
right.
kind of, they get to smirk and stare over it.
You know, when I used to make commercials, there would be times where I would have people on set, as you would call it. We're in a furniture store, and somebody would yell "cut," and I would look at him and I'd say, "I say cut."
Oh,
I say cut.
Yeah.
And I would always act like I was so pissed, and it always got a big laugh.
you went full Scientology Tom Cruise on it. You know,
I
you're
did.
you're being
Oblique.
Oh,
You're oblique. Speaking
You're
of
being a
Tom
little
Cruise, I saw
penultimate.
this. I saw this interview with John Hamm.
yeah, about the first time you met Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
thought it was a prank.
Yeah, and he says, so there's Tom Cruise and Mom Cruise. And Tom Cruise is like, I like Mad Men. You're really good on that show. And he's like really, really intense, you know.
Yeah.
And they asked John Hamm if he would be in Top Gun. Yes.
Yeah,
Do you
the
wanna
answer
know-
is yes, no matter what.
Do you want to know when? No.
Yeah.
Do you want to work out the cut? No, I'm going to be in it. Yeah, that is the only answer. So, speaking of John Hamm and movies, I want when they make a movie about Irritable Dad Syndrome,
Okay.
I want John Hamm
Okay.
and Paul Rudd to play me and you. Okay, I don't care who plays. I don't care who plays you, who plays me.
Yeah.
I really don't care. But those are the two main people.
Yeah.
I want Bryan Cranston to be Dave Lay, and then Chris Hughes will be played by Steve Buscemi.
Okay, I was going to say
So-
Zach Galifianakis, but
Zach, he's busy. He's busy. So Steve Buscemi will play
Yeah.
creepy Chris Hughes,
Yeah.
and John Hamm, Paul Rudd are going to play me and you.
I think it would be cool if the show started. It's John Hamm and Paul Rudd, and then as the episodes go, by the time it's like episode 150, it's
look
Jack Black and Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. This show just wore him down. So that's what I'm hoping for. You know, you were talking about Dahmer. Have you seen the show The Patient, which is on
No, that's Steve Carell on Hulu. I know we probably have Hulu. I just don't. I mentioned in the text. I don't
Mother
know if I have
of
that.
God? That show is so intense.
So the dude's a killer.
Ridiculously intense.
Yeah.
It opens up with Steve Carell, and he's chained to a bed in somebody's basement. Doesn't know how he got there.
Okay.
And it ends up being one of his, because he's a therapist. He's a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
It's one of his patients who has urges to hurt people, and he's got him locked in his basement.
Yeah.
And it goes from there. And we can't start the next episode fast enough.
Yeah.
And so now I'm trying to, it's like, do I watch Dahmer or do I watch The Patient? I'm kind of tossed in between there.
Yeah.
Because we've kind of taken a break from the Ring.
Yeah.
Because I keep falling asleep during it. It's a great show.
Rings of Power.
The Rings of Power.
Okay.
It's a very good show.
Yeah.
But I just can't keep from falling asleep.
There's
And
a-
I really enjoy it.
There's a cadence to it. I've noticed. There's
Yeah.
a pattern to it. And once you see it, it just kind of sticks in your head. They'll have long talky sections, and then
Talkie.
yeah,
Talkie.
it's like where
they
Doogie Howser and the other guy are talking.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they'll have a holy Jeff Bezos just sent over some money, ungodly, suck this,
Right.
Peter Jackson action,
Yeah. That's
CGI extravaganza, and then it comes back down to two characters talkie with the
hey, we're in the woods.
You know they're
Yeah.
green screened. I don't think they have an actual burning mountain in the background.
I don't think
and
so.
all this.
I don't think so.
Which I don't mind that. I mean, I know it can't be just blowing in your
You
face.
can't do that all the time.
The whole
No,
time, and
no.
it would be annoying if they did that.
Yeah.
But I can't. Like the cynical part of me is like, oh, we're in talkie land now. We've got 10 minutes before, a demon comes up and just starts, bloviating.
Yeah. Ooh.
So,
I've got a question
Yeah.
about the Rings of Power.
Yeah.
They keep trying to save Middle Earth.
yeah.
How come nobody cares about Top Earth and Bottom Earth?
Well, nobody, whatever.
It's like the ice caps? Nobody
Yeah.
cares about that or
No,
what?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
Well, there goes my
Well,
comedy routine.
the Northern Earth
Mhm.
they're in there for a little bit. Sauron is up there. So you've
Sauron.
realized now it's pronounced Sauron.
Sauron. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna die on that hill.
Okay.
That's where it's gonna go.
Yeah, no, you're the one who's going to down the hill because you won't stop saying it. Sauron.
that's
it's
how
not
it's-
sauerkraut.
It's Sauron.
It's Sauron.
It's not how you pronounce it.
I don't care.
They didn't pronounce it in Lord of the Rings that way either.
Sauron.
Hmm.
Go back.
So
yeah.
here's the deal.
Okay. Here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
How many episodes in are you?
I've watched 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
have you seen Sauron?
Yeah, Sauron, yes.
Okay.
I saw the moment where you like, holy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
where it's like the elves are the Jedis of this.
Yes.
Like the he comes out and it's like blades.
He's out of focus, then he's in focus for almost a second, and then the credits come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the point where me and Charlie reach it. Charlie's the only one watching it with me, but it's like our Friday night. Every Friday night we're watching the Rings of Power. He gets excited. I come home and we watch it. And I get nervous during the talkie parts, but he seems to enjoy them.
Why do you get nervous?
Started watching Daredevil randomly one night after that, which was completely inappropriate.
I need to get back to Daredevil.
Yeah. Probably the first 3 minutes of Daredevil, it's like, oh, I shouldn't be exposing my 8-year-old, soon-to-be 9-year-old son to this, but hey, it's over. It's done. I want to come back to Dahmer briefly.
Okay. Richard Jenkins plays the father.
The guy from 6 Feet Under.
Exactly.
Yeah, the dad from 6 Feet Under.
Yes. And I will tell anybody, if Richard Jenkins is in something, watch it.
Yeah.
Because honest to God, I think he is probably the best living actor on the planet right now.
He's great. He breaks
amazing.
down crying in that first.
He is solid. I mean, I've never seen him do a bad performance. I'd like to have him as a guest on the show. Richard Jenkins. If you want to be a guest on Irritable Dad Syndrome, reach out to our publicist and our manager, and we will arrange it.
So this is because shows in my head all go together. So I kept expecting Nathan to walk in the room with him at some point and say, Dad, what's with this apartment with all the vinyl and the weird stuff? And
and what's the smell?
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
So the Dahmer thing, I was talking before about how well they captured his weirdness and stuff.
Yeah.
What bothers me about it, what makes me feel bad, and I watch these shows before I go to bed because I only have like an hour or so.
Yeah.
And I watch it and then I got to go to sleep. And I think we talked before, people believe that if you can do that, you're a psychopath yourself. So I may be. But what bothers me is that it will make you feel sorry for him. And you're like, oh, geez, man, that's all. It's especially if you have kids, you're like watching them go through this stuff, and then all of a sudden he'll just do something crazy, and you're like, oh, no, they need to cage him, and then put a cage around the cage,
and a force field, electrify
all the stuff, and but
after all the years of watching Dexter. And all the seasons of CSI and CSI Miami and CSI Brooklyn and CSI Telford, Tennessee.
CSI
and
Liberty Township.
Exactly. It's like, dude, they're going to smell what's going on here.
I love.
They're going to smell, and they're going to hear you.
Okay, let me ask you this. How many episodes in are you?
I watched the first one.
Okay. You are going to crap yourself. It's like the second or third episode. The cops actually come. And they're searching his place.
They came on the first episode.
They did. They take him away.
Right.
But they come on it at a separate one when he has a different victim in there.
Uh-huh.
There's a dead body laying in his bedroom. And the cops are like coming in and they're like, I don't know. I don't want to catch any of this gay. Can you catch gay? And I'm like, okay,
Are you serious?
I'm serious. And it's in 91. Like you're looking at his hair and everything.
Can you catch gay?
Yeah. And part of it or they say, I don't want to catch any what do they call them? Lice. I need to be deloused. And it's on the record, so they have what they actually said. And I'm like, okay.
So you're telling me that the cops actually showed up
they
to
walked
his place
into the room where there was
previously. And there was a dead person in there.
They're very what is that? Homophobic. And he was playing into that.
Phobia.
He was using that to like stay hidden and keep because he knew they're all creeped out by this. And it's just you're watching them like the entire time. I'm like, holy how bad can you be at copping or policing? Because
this comedy podcast is taking a turn for the worse.
But they shows them, they're in the room with the body and like, well, there's nothing in here. What's that smell? And he's like, oh, I got pork chops that went bad. And you see a toe sticking out and there's a huge blood stain on the mattress. Well, I don't want to touch anything. Let's go on out of here. And so you're saying he's 19. Oh, yeah, he's 19. He's my boyfriend. He's got that Wisconsin or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, I think everything's fine. I don't want to mess with your lifestyle. You guys don't come in my neighborhood. I won't come in your neighborhood. I'm going to go home. And the other cop is like, yeah, we need to go take a shower. And I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, I know people were insensitive in the 90s, but they seem like that we're we're turning the corner
Right.
a bit, then
Unbelievable.
they go crazy. It's so you got that whole thing going on. It's a show that makes you feel bad.
Yeah.
Don't watch. I'm gonna watch when you leave. I'm watching the next episode.
This summer, a motion picture event so terrifying, you'll be shaken to the core. Alone, dropped in the middle of nowhere, with a horizon filled with horror in every direction you look. What do you do when there's no place to go, no place to hide, and danger all around? You run for your life. You run like hell. Open Field, rated R.
Last week we were talking about Grady from Sanford and Son. His name is Whitman Mayo, and it turns out he died in 2001. I was searching through. Do you have a Roku box? I have a Roku box. Okay.
What? Okay.
You get a Roku box, and then it comes with the Roku channel, which you're going to need to get that if you're going to watch the Weird Al movie that's coming out with Harry Potter in it. Okay. So anyway, I got my Roku box. I'm going through there, and I was looking on Crackle. Have you watched anything on Crackle?
Jesus.
I feel bad for the people on Crackle because, God love them, they try so hard. And I don't know if I'm the only person who watches anything on Crackle, but I'm going through.
I think there's more stuff out on Viewfinder than Crackle.
I think
Crackle.
So. I'm going through just for fun to see, let's see what's on Crackle. And at the bottom of the page is rare shows. And they had Fish, which was a spinoff from Barney Miller. And then they had Grady. I'm like, I didn't know Grady. I didn't know they did a spinoff.
I do. I remember that.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It only lasted 10 episodes before they canceled it. And then he went back over to Sanford Son.
Yeah.
But the opening credits is just him waiting on a bus. He gets on the bus, gets off the bus, and he gets on another bus.
Yeah.
Then he gets off that bus. He gets on a third bus. And it is so set up punchline. And he shows up late. And they're like, Dad, you're late. He goes, how can I be late? I'm the first one here at the table. And then he doesn't know how to drive. And so his son-in-law is teaching him how to drive. And I'm like, this is the worst episode of television ever. But it's so bad.
Yeah.
You can't stop watching
If
it.
you had asked me, if you had said, Mike, describe the opening of Grady, I would not have been able to tell you. But as you were describing it, I do remember seeing that. I don't remember the show, but I do remember seeing that opening.
I thought I knew a lot about television. I mean, and I do. Granted, I'm forgetting every day, but I never knew he had a spinoff. Grady. Available on Crackle.
I'm starting to think I have Gen X. What's that called?
Boomerism?
No. What's the where you lose your
malaria?
No, your memories and stuff go away.
Is it dementia?
Dementia. I have Gen X dementia.
Yeah.
I remember actors in roles they were not in, and things. Pierce Brosnan to me was in I don't know how many 007 movies before GoldenEye, but that was his first 007.
Right.
I've conflated Remington Steele and 007 and MacGyver.
Right.
I don't know if there was ever a Remington Steele MacGyver crossover, but in my head that happened.
Yeah.
And they got there in Airwolf.
It was badass.
In my head it was.
And then they took the 18 bus and there you go.
Yeah. Part of it was I was a shut-in nerd,
right?
And I just watched these shows back to back. So to me, they were my stories.
Yeah, let's watch my stories.
Did they ever show Cobra Commander's face? Do you remember Cobra Commander?
I don't remember Cobra Commander. Okay. What was that from?
G.I. Joe.
You know what? I never watched a single episode of G.I. Joe. There was a long period of time.
Yeah.
And this is God's truth. I've told you about our house in Virginia, and we had an antenna on top of the house. Yeah. And we had a rotary dial box.
Yeah.
Okay. And you turn it north to get the CBS station, and then you dial the thing south, and the antenna.
It's the number station where they're like 23,
exactly.
17, and it would 48.
The antenna would turn, and when it faced south, you could pick up the NBC station. Okay. Well, the rotary dial broke. The rotary box broke. Did we buy a new one? No. My dad would climb up on the house. Let me say it again. My dad would climb up on top of our house, and he would change the antenna with his hand.
I'm surprised he didn't make you go up there and do it.
I was too short. I couldn't reach it. I was a kid. So when mom and dad got a divorce, well, of course, mom's not going to let me climb up on top of the house and change the antenna with my hand. So there was a long time where we only had one channel. and that was the NBC station.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything that was on CBS, we missed. So there was years of WKRP that I didn't get to see.
Yeah.
There was Dallas, Dukes of Hazzard, The Incredible Hulk. I didn't get to see that for like a good couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it may have been a few months, but it felt like years that we only had one channel. And we watched every episode of Little House on the Prairie. But my point is, I never got to see G.I. Joe.
Okay.
It was one of those shows that was not on the one channel that we had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Irritable Dad Syndrome is proud to be associated with Newsly, the all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. For the first time ever, the entire internet becomes listenable, all in one place. Check it out. Newsly actually picks up articles about the most trending topics on the web and reads them to you in a natural human voice, much like my own. I'm Dave Lay, and I'm in fact an actual human. And guess what? Our podcast, Irritable Dad Syndrome, is available there too. Listen to us every week on Newsly and afterwards. If you feel like grooving to another podcast, then knock yourself out. You can find trending podcasts from over 80 countries and digital radio as well. So stop scrolling and start listening. Download Newsly now. Just go to www.newsly.me and use this promo code. The number 1, RR, another number 1, then the letters TABLEDAD, and receive a free 1-month premium subscription.
I was assaulted the other day.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Did you call the police?
No.
Why?
I didn't have any phone reception. I was in the toilet.
Oh, in the turlet?
In the toilet.
Yeah.
I was not here. I don't want to let anyone know where I was because I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Okay.
But I was defecating in the toilet.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So the state at which I was at,
Uh-huh.
I had evacuated my bowels. Right?
Uh-huh.
I had
made a boom boom.
Yeah, I made boom boom.
You dropped a deuce.
Dropped a deuce.
Couple kids off at the pool.
Yeah. At my age, I don't immediately wipe or clean up the situation after the first few kids go into the pool. I just don't.
Uh-huh.
You know, I gotta.
You wait for round
Coffee
3.
is doing its thing in there. There's always a final, like the horn of Gondor.
The Horn of Gondor.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to make sure. The worst thing is you wipe, and then
there's
that final. It's like a fireworks display. There's always the final thing. So I'm in that state, and you got to. You don't.
Is it a fugue state?
You don't want to wait too long. You don't want things to dry up down there. You don't want people to wonder where you are and start calling the cops. So you got to time it correctly. I'm in that state where I cannot, Darin, just jump up.
No, I don't jump anyway. Yeah.
All of a sudden, in my mind at the time, this beetle had armor.
Wait, it was a beetle?
A beetle.
Was it a dung beetle?
It was
Waka waka.
It was a large beetle. It wasn't, it looked brutal. And it was running at me. Now I'm in a stall. So imagine by the time I looked, I see a little flash
so you're
of
not
black.
Home.
No.
You went to make a major transaction somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm doing this elsewhere.
Okay.
I look down, it's in a full charge by the time I see it in the stall, which means it's less than 2 feet away from me. I'm sitting there in one of my most vulnerable states.
Yeah.
I reach over, rip out a wad of toilet paper, and in one swift, it was like a ninja.
You got your Judy chop, you got your karate chop, and you got your ninja chop.
I flicked that thing, slammed it on its face, and it went out through the thing and hit the wall like that. And I'm like, okay.
A Judy chop.
A Judy chop. And all of a sudden, Tom Cruise popped in my head.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible music started going.
Dink, dink,
You've
dink,
got
dink,
30
dink,
seconds
dink,
before
dink,
this
dink, dink,
message
dink,
self-destructs.
dink, dink,
I am
dink,
cleaning up myself like a boss. Okay, don't do that when I'm talking about wiping my butt. I get done. I go out. There's no beetle. Now I'm worried. Where is this thing? This is not a large room that I'm in.
Okay.
I'm concerned that it's up in the corner of the room, about to jump down on me. I don't know what the hell's happened.
It's out for vengeance.
I was shaken, Darin.
To your core.
To my core.
Yeah.
I cleaned myself up. I did wash my hands.
Oh yeah.
And I dried them. I didn't wipe them down my shirt like I
Right.
normally do. I dried them with a paper towel.
Right.
It was a show of dominance. Like, I belong here. You don't. I'm going to finish my what I need to do. And then I exited.
Okay.
It still bothers me. Okay, so I've been down here before.
So what you're saying is this restroom, like at the Western Sizzler, still has a beetle that's attacking people. You need to warn.
How do you do that?
Give the location and say there may be an attack beetle at this place on 1148.
Should I get a picture of a beetle off the internet and just put wanted over it and tape it on the thing?
Yeah.
I may. I've been down here before.
You could have been killed.
I could have. I've been in the basement here before, and I was telling Bess this.
That's how Elvis died.
Every once in a while, we have a spider back there behind the TV, and it'll rush out at me. It scares the bejesus out of me. This was equivalent. At least with the spider, I can scream, cuss, throw a controller at it, and run and yell at Bess to come kill the spider. In the turlet, I couldn't do that.
Right.
And I've already kind of let you know I was in a semi-public place. I couldn't run out of there with everything flopping around
semi-public
and poo on me. I had to clean myself up. It was a harrowing experience.
I'm just glad you're alive.
I am too.
Yeah.
I could have slipped and hit my head on the
You
temple.
could, yeah. Again, Elvis died on the toilet, so...
Probably a beetle.
Yeah, probably.
And now it's time for Dave's Comedy Corner. I sure am glad they make travel-sized products. For years, I've always struggled finding luggage big enough to hold my big-ass tube of toothpaste. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. This has been Dave's Comedy Corner, brought to you this week by Otis Elevators. There's nothing like the feel, the smell, and the comfort of an Otis elevator. If you're in a building that doesn't have an Otis, well, you should take the stairs. Now, back to the show.
Waka, waka, waka.
A few weeks ago, we made a guest appearance on a podcast, The Decision Reel.
Awesome podcast.
And yeah, they're really good. And then, like a few weeks before that, they were on our podcast. So we've gotten to know each other. We've become friendly, not friends. I mean, they're up in
Saskatchewan,
Maine,
or Burlington,
or Vermont, or
Canada.
someplace. Yeah, I don't know where they're from. But we've become friendly with them. And I remember because we were joking because the Randy guy had not seen Star Wars. And our joke was, how do you have a podcast where you review movies and you have not seen Star Wars?
Yeah.
Well, they remedied that.
Yeah.
And
Are you taking credit for that?
well,
You should.
That's where I'm a little pissed because I went to their website and I looked, and they have a new segment on their show called "How Have You Not Seen This Movie?" Okay, and it's dedicated to Randy. And I'm listening to it thinking, oh, they're going to mention that they were on Irritable Dad Syndrome and that Darin had lost his shit over why Randy hasn't seen this. Not a mention.
Yeah.
Not one single mention.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm listening to the episode, and I'm trying to listen to it with an open mind.
Okay.
Okay. And I was okay with a majority of it.
Yeah.
It's not a bad episode.
By the way, I think that at least one of them does listen to this podcast. So right now you have their entire attention. Like, what is this about to say about us? Continue.
I was okay with them.
For the record, Mike likes you guys. I dig you. Whatever is about to come out of Darin's mouth.
I like them too.
Okay.
I like
All right.
them too. And I was gonna let it go.
Okay.
But I'm like, I have to give them a little more.
Okay.
Because when they were talking about Star Wars, which when I was a kid, I saw it was just called Star Wars. It wasn't called Episode 4.
Wasn't it called The Star Wars at some point?
No, I don't think so. It was just called Star Wars when I saw it in the
same,
theater.
Same with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they refer to it as Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. Okay, that's what kids do these days.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of things they did that I could not let go. One, Steve keeps calling it CP30. So every time CP30 is walking around, I'm thinking, this guy's funny, and CP30 did this, and CP30 did that. I'm mowing my lawn, right? And I got my earbuds
Are you yelling
in, and I'm
C3PO?
C3PO. C3PO. C3. Jesus God. And it's just like I'm visibly shaken by this. And then
This is why old people in the homes are pissed off.
I know.
Because of this. This is going more and more. This is going to happen.
But it's when Steve says something about Harrison Ford. It was like the movie that launched his career. Randy said, That's Harrison Ford?
Oh, no. Oh, no, Randy.
Randy,
Oh.
you didn't know it was Harrison Ford. How? That's just like...
Wow.
Right. And so
Okay.
anyway, I shot him a message and I'm like, by the way, guys, it's not CP30, it's C3PO
Yeah.
and good luck. And we had a nice back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
Nice chat.
Hey, guys, the
discussion.
boomer's talking to us again. Yeah.
So I got the biggest kick out of that. And it reminded me of something else.
Yeah.
Our neighbors, my neighbors, not your neighbors. Your neighbors don't even know who you are. My neighbors, Jason Durbin and his lovely wife, Erin Durbin, went to Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah, I
And-
saw the pictures of that.
Yeah, and they while they were walking through, they walked past Richard Dreyfuss,
Oh.
right? And it reminded me that
Was
when
he
they
actually, was he
yeah,
there?
he was there.
Oh.
When they did the commercials for it, they said,
Yeah.
and Richard Dreyfuss from Jaws. Like, you don't need to say he's from anything.
Yeah.
He's Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
You don't need to say
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss.
It's
from
like
Jaws.
It's like Tom Cruise from Vanilla Sky.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I get-
From Risky Business, Tom Cruise. You know, it's like everybody knows who Richard Dreyfuss is.
Do they know? Do
Yes, yes,
they? Yeah.
dude. Anyone who goes to Comic Con,
Yes.
no,
we
listen,
know who he is.
Sit down. Anybody who
Yeah.
goes to Comic Con is also a sci-fi guy and has seen or heard of Close Encounters
Of the Third
Okay,
Kind.
of the third kind.
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss. The mashed potatoes. This means something.
Yeah.
They know who Richard Dreyfuss is.
See, for me, Richard Dreyfuss is What About Bob?
Yeah.
That's the pinnacle.
I'm sailing. Yeah.
Oh,
But blew my mind. I could not believe that they said Richard Dreyfuss from Jaws. And then, off topic a little bit, but sort of on topic. A few weeks ago, I'm on the Facebook and
Yeah.
I'm looking at some of the concerts that are coming. And it said Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys.
yeah.
Really? Do you have to say
Well, that's
Paul
for
McCartney
me,
of the Beatles?
Because I didn't know who Brian Wilson was. So
Really?
yeah.
Really?
Just don't. I don't.
Okay. Okay. Maybe, you know what happens when you assume you make out of ass
That's right.
out of yourself.
So I do have some concert talk.
Okay.
Bess and I are going to see Pussifer
Pussifer.
in November.
Okay.
That's a site. We'll talk about that later on in the year. What I do want to talk about is that they've began advertising videos of concerts and videos of things that they've made to promote the concert.
Uh-huh.
And in one of the promotional things for one of these videos, and we put a picture of it on our site, I think it's Maynard is wearing a shirt that says, "Who farted?"
Who farted?
That's my thing.
Right.
Our thing that we stole from George Carlin.
Yeah. Hey,
Literally.
that's like somebody saying, "Hey, what happened?" And that's ours, man. Because I think by now we legally own "Hey, what happened."
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened? As you know, back in 1970, I started on a series called What Happened? And every time something would go wrong, I would look at the camera and say, hey, what happened?
I think so.
I believe we do,
But
or we should.
The George Carlin thing, I mean, I was a young pup when that he was talking about something. I can't even remember what it was. He's like, yeah, who farted, right? And the crowd went wild, and I spit my Kool-Aid out.
That
I'm
actually
like,
was a pretty decent George Carlin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, I had a moment. I had about a 20 to 30 second moment where my brain refused to acknowledge that I stole it and was focused in on that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Stole. Who farted?
Stole.
So in my stole for 20 to 30 seconds,
Stole it.
for 20 to 30 seconds, this was reality to me. Maynard James Keenan of Tool, Pussifer, Perfect Circle, fame.
Wasn't he in the Traveling Wilburys?
No.
Okay.
Owns a winery. This dude knows everybody. Everybody loves him.
Uh-huh.
In my head, I was like, he was listening to Irritable Dad Syndrome, heard Who Farted, and I thought, I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
And it was,
you know what? It's totally possible.
he was like, in the future, my future Mike brain that was working all this out was like, no, you stole that. That's a thing.
I'm thinking he did because when you mentioned going to the Tool, when 3, 2,
Jesus.
1, go. When you mentioned going to the Tool concert and drinking your contact lenses, you hashtagged Tool.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they ding, ding, ding. Wait. Somebody hashtagged us. Okay. And then they listen to it and they're like, that's funny.
Yeah.
Who farted?
Who farted?
I'm going to put that on a shirt.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
I'm pretty sure we were blocked about 5 seconds after that happened.
Well, maybe.
So tomorrow I'm going to see a concert.
Okay.
I'm going to see 2 concerts.
Okay.
I have tickets to Five Finger Death Punch.
Okay.
I may watch one song of theirs and then I'm leaving.
I think you're going to be surprised.
I'm going to meet the Hue, Mongolian throat band.
Yeah.
That's what they're called.
Mongolian throat
Metal band.
Okay.
And then Megadeth.
Uh-huh.
And then, like I said, Five Finger Death Punch. I might eat a hot dog.
I still can't believe that Megadeth is opening for Five Finger Death Punch.
I know. When I bought the tickets, I thought I got an email that said, you're going to see Five Finger Death Punch. I'm like, no.
Hey, what happened?
I'm going to see Megadeth. I bought Megadeth because when I bought it was Megadeth.
Megadeth should be top billing on this.
Yeah.
They're legendary.
There's another crew in there. I don't even know who they are, and I don't care about them.
Yeah. Is it the Traveling Wilburys?
Aren't 2 of them? 3 of them are dead.
Yes.
That one guy who's left, the Maracas guy, he might be there.
Jeff Lynne and Bob Dylan are the only 2 living members of the Traveling Wilburys.
But I'm going to wear the Venomous Beaver t-shirt.
Okay.
And I get to meet the Hue.
The Hue.
And I don't know if this is meet, like I get to shake their hand, or if it's like the person at the VIP tent says, they're over there across the field, and you don't get to see them at all.
They're just standing there waving. Wear your Kiss shirt and see if they autograph it.
So my question to you was, do I let them know that this is an Irritable Dad Syndrome thing, or do I go full tilt, Venomous Beaver?
Full Beaver. Go
band formed in Pittsburgh. Oh,
Exactly.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, there's 3 rivers,
There's
man.
lots of
Dams
dams
everywhere. What kind of metal are they? Mammal
They're
core?
Beaver metal.
Well, that'll break it right there.
Yeah.
Beaver metal. That's what I'll tell the drunk asshole behind me.
Yeah. No, don't tell anybody that it's an idiot band. It's bull. Don't.
Okay.
Don't you dare.
No,
Anybody who asks you at the concert, just tell them that they're new, you love them.
I want to call
Check them out.
I want to call them Mammal Core. Can I do that? I want to call.
Okay.
I'm proud of that. I want to say that to somebody.
Yeah.
I want to say that to somebody and see if the intelligence goes through their fugue state caused by beer and other stuff. And if they're like, wait, that's not a thing. It's absolutely a thing.
And tell them that their next album, Getting Wood and Smacking Tail, is coming out in December. Venomous Beaver.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
River dams. Like a play on River Dance. I could have a beaver with an Irish, doing like
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop.
So the Venomous Beaver shirt that you're wearing right now has Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Not this one. No, this one.
Okay.
Not only doesn't have that, it's also misspelled. Some sites.
But you have one that has Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Yeah, it's up. It's in storage.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to wear that tomorrow. I don't want anybody spilling ketchup on it. Anybody do anything to it because I am wearing that shirt.
This portion of our show is brought to you by Whoppers All-Beef Footlong Hot Dogs. Hi, I'm Dave Lay. Fall is here, and that means 3 things. It's time to watch football. Women tuck their pants into their boots. And pumpkin spice is in absolutely everything. Well, I've been asked by the fine folks at Whoppers to assure you something. Whoppers will never put that nasty-ass pumpkin spice flavor into their hot dogs or their buns. It's a promise. Whoppers are made from 100% pure beef with no fillers and no preservatives. Get a ruler and measure it yourself. If your hot dog isn't a foot long, they'll refund your money, guaranteed. And hey ladies, thanks for tucking those pants into your boots. I personally think they're sexy as hell. Now back to the show.
I took the kids out to the UDF, the United Dairy Farmers. It's a gas station right down the street.
Oh, not Udafunk?
Udafunk. And we were getting ice cream, and I've got my, in my defense, I thought it was funny t-shirt. Yeah. And the guy working at UDF says, hey, I like that shirt. I said, oh, thanks. Yeah. And then I turned around, showed him the back. It's from my podcast, Irritable Dad Syndrome. Because I'm not going to be like, exactly. I'm not going to be like you and go, oh, yeah.
What that is.
Yeah, it's a shirt, and I wear it because you're supposed to wear shirts when you go outside. So I
heard it on Joe Rogan. Go listen to his podcast.
It's from my podcast, Irritable Dad Syndrome. And he says, I know that podcast.
Oh.
And I'm like, you do? He goes, yeah, I haven't listened to it a while, but I have listened to it. I like the podcast.
Oh.
I said, well, thanks. He goes, you're the guys who tell all the dad jokes, right? And I said, no. No, you've got us. No. You guys tell the dad jokes.
Okay.
And then he says, "You want to hear a dad joke?" I said,
Oh,
"No."
Jesus.
And then
This
he
is-
tells me a dad joke, something about a pirate with "arr." I don't remember the joke.
All
And then Cameron tells his dad joke. What was Abe Lincoln's favorite part of the drum set?
Yeah.
The hi-hat. But and then he looks at me and goes, "Well, go on, man. Tell me a dad joke."
Okay.
And I said, I don't have any dad jokes. And now, even if I had 100,
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell him because he's got the wrong guy. But I said, but if you listen to Irritable Dad Syndrome,
Yeah.
it's funny, but we don't tell dad jokes.
No.
No.
This is like, you got like the lowest tier of fame there. It's like when Dwight got the ability to move people around.
I thought you were somebody, a guy who's like really annoying. Okay.
You got the version of fame that you could get.
Yes.
A dude misrecognizes you for another thing.
And then I went home and I cried.
I have a rant. I need to
Okay.
get this out. I'm afraid
Okay.
we're not going to get it out.
That's what she said.
So, here's the thing.
Here's the deal.
People with your Facebook feeds, if you're getting Facebook feed stuff that keeps reinforcing stuff that you already know and do,
Right.
you're in an echo chamber. You need to calm down.
You're preaching to the choir.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you keep posting that stuff, all your other friends, they have different Facebook feeds that cater to them.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, if you keep posting what pops up in yours, people start to think, oh, he's really obsessed with that.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the fact that my stuff that comes up is Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, stupid jokes, and then randomly
Exactly.
Mongolian throat
Exactly.
metal.
It's like
This thing's
very-
falling apart fast. We're going to hold it together.
Very penultimately.
So a recent thing that I've seen, it's not recent, it's been happening for a while, but it's something about it this weekend really pissed me off.
Yep.
Somebody in Gen X, I know because I know this, I don't know this person specifically, but I know about their age, posted one of these things saying, back when I was a kid, we would go out and ride the crawdads at night and catch the fireflies, and we walked.
You would actually
up a mountain,
ride a crawdad.
They were big back then.
Huge.
Yeah, and
Jesus.
we didn't have, the internet. We didn't have social media. All this
we
stuff.
rode our bicycles and we played with sticks
And-
and we threw rocks up against the wall. And
This particular person, I specifically remember playing Super Mario Brothers in their house. I'm
Yeah.
like, you had a video game system.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that you loved it.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal. And yeah, we did all those things, but
Yeah.
we also played the game systems and did this stuff.
Exactly.
And I look at my kids, thank God my kids love to go do things and play outside and stuff, but
Yeah.
they also like to play video games.
Yeah.
I don't get the poo-pooing on the thing.
Yeah, these people are treating the Vigi games, as you call it, like it's one or the other.
Right. So
Yeah.
right now in the world, the number one entertainment industry is still television.
Yes.
Number two is video games. It dwarfs books is next.
Right. And then juggling.
It dwarfs juggling. It dwarfs Hollywood.
Yeah.
It dwarfs the music industry. Everything it does. I'll post a graph.
But you said television was number one. That's Hollywood.
No, movies separate from television. Yeah.
Oh,
You know what
okay.
I'm- you know
All
what I'm
right.
at. You know
Yeah,
what
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So it's a huge industry. It's
huge.
started.
Yeah.
I mean, there were video games. Somebody's going to write in and say, I saw a video game that came out in the 20s, and it's like some freaking dude in a top hat that throws pennies at camels, whatever. No,
Yeah.
Atari. Everyone knows Atari.
I had the Atari
Nin-
2600.
1977.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's when it hit.
Yep.
The video game
over
industry
with after
got
that.
so big that it crashed. It imploded upon itself because there were so many systems and so many video games out there in 1983. So from 1977
Yeah.
to 1983, this thing that didn't exist existed like to the point where it just collapsed on itself.
Yeah.
All right. In those years. So I am 47. I was
Okay.
born in 1975.
Okay.
I was 2 years old when that started. I know people around that age, and they're telling me they didn't have video games.
Lying.
They were here before you knew where you were supposed to poop.
Yeah.
Okay? And they got so huge.
With the Beatles.
Which means that people older than you and your parents probably had those things.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo hit with the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1985. And then I think we all know the story from there. Video games took off and became like I said, the second biggest entertainment industry in the world.
Yeah.
So stop with we didn't have video games.
Because you did.
The only people that can do that are boomers and of a certain age, because my dad, we had Atari 2600. My dad would have been considered a boomer.
Yeah.
He had an Atari 2600. We had a Commodore 64. We had these things. Stop with the
Yeah.
You weren't out there playing with crawdads all night.
Yeah.
You did other things too.
Yeah.
Cease.
Now, I mean, there are people in their 70s who talk about, back in the day.
Yeah.
But it's like, listen, when we...
But I'm talking about people our age.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that. But when and you are very responsible with your kids where this is concerned, where they do go outside.
Yeah.
They will go outside and they will play basketball. They will throw the football. They will jump on the trampoline.
Yeah.
And they will come back in and then they will play the video games.
Yeah.
Like our kids love playing video games.
Yeah.
And my son Cameron has friends his best friend moved to Georgia and he can connect with him and play. And it's a fantastic way for him to keep in touch with his buddy.
Exactly.
We don't let him do it all day.
Yeah.
Right? He still rides his bike. He still jumps on his trampoline. He still goes outside. And we say, hey, bud, you've been on it for X amount of time.
Yeah.
Come down here. We're going to go play foosball.
Yeah.
We're going to do something as family. That type of thing.
Somebody right now
We're actually doing a parenting podcast.
Somebody right now is planning on pulling their car over and write to us and say, back in my day, we had pen pals.
Yeah.
I had a pen. You got a kid that you wrote a letter to that lived in Mexico or Botswana.
You know who you were writing? Probably a serial killer. You were probably secretly writing to Jeffrey Dahmer.
You wrote, what's your favorite book? Mine is Hello, God, It's Me, Margaret.
Are you there, God?
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
Swear to God, that's the book I was going to say.
I like
Judy Bloom.
I like Pac-Man. He looks like a baller. And then you sent it off to Peppy, and Peppy sent you back a thing saying, I have a cactus in my yard. I like Nintendo. Legend of Zelda. Why does that bitch keep getting whatever?
When was the last time you actually wrote a letter? Because I miss writing letters. And because I have a friend who lives in Texas, and we met after I moved to Johnson City. She moved to Texas, and she and I would write 3 or 4 letters a week.
Yeah,
and like every other day, I would get a letter, 3-4 pages, and it was just like, oh my God!
You used to have to sit down.
You used to look forward to going to the mailbox.
Yeah, you had to write it out, and then email. So we grew up like going from letters to emails. So our emails, a Gen X email, will have the salutation. Hi. Hello. Larry, this is George. I prefer the newer Gears of War to the older Gears. And you type your thing and you go on. And then it moved over to text like, hey, what's up? Okay,
LOL.
Yeah. And then
BRB, LOL.
And we've adapted. The other night I was watching Rings of Power and I'm sending just profanity left and right. You guys are going, just going crazy. I'm down here with Charlie. He has no idea what horrible things I'm sending through the messenger, but that's what makes it wonderful.
Right.
Back in the day, I would have had to have paused it, come over here, lit a candle, got the quill pen. Dear Darin, you won't believe what just happened in the Rings of Power.
It is so cold, and I fear Libby will die from tuberculosis. I hope this letter finds you well in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Once it's delivered by carrier pigeon.
Elizabeth's pumpkins have all died. We fear the blight has taken the crop. Booba has begun sniffing
you're
unnatural
in your house.
areas.
You got your nightcap. Okay, you got your long gown, and you're writing by a
look
candle.
Like Where's Waldo? Writing about the cows.
Candle while you're sitting there in your quill and your
And then a 15-year-old comes by in a pony and takes that letter and rides it out to the post. Gets shot in the neck with an arrow. They find the letter years later.
Wait a minute.
I don't know.
Somebody just got shot in the neck? This flashback of ours turned ugly.
It did.
Yeah.
It was wild. Everything was the West back then.
This
was all
serial killer podcast.
No.
Yeah.
Available now at IrritableDadSyndrome.com. Episode 1, Special Edition. That's right, Mike and Darin's very first episode has been re-edited and digitally remastered to make it sound bigger and better than ever before. What used to sound like this...
I have a feeling a lot of this is going to be edited out.
Okay.
Because I'm just going all over the place.
That's totally fine.
now sounds like this.
I have a feeling a lot of this is going to be edited out.
Okay.
Because I'm just going all over the place.
That's totally fine.
Plus, it features a special introduction and 2 never-before-heard commercials featuring me. I'm Dave Lay. Irritable Dad Syndrome, Episode 1 Special Edition. Available exclusively for Patreon members. Join now at irritabledadsyndrome.com.
I want to talk about something that we talked about last week.
Okay.
You started bitching that you hate when people who are older than 10 say yummy.
15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so now it's 15.
15
oh,
or
so
older.
now it's only 250. So now, okay, the age has gone up to 15.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're between 10 and 15, you're allowed to say yummy.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you started running your trap saying that it bothers you when I say it's delicious.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. You go outside, it's 101 degrees, you instantly start sweating, and you're gasping for air, and you say, man, it is hot, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how you describe that situation. When something that you eat tastes good, the verb that describes it, or the adjective that describes it, because a verb is an action word.
It is.
By the way-
fucked up the bit.
By the way,
I
by the
is
way,
the subject.
by the way, verb and adjective are both nouns,
Okay.
but a noun can't be a verb or an adjective. Anyway,
Oh.
so the adjective is it's hot. So if you eat something that tastes really good, you say it's delicious. But you have a problem
No,
with
I don't
that.
like that.
So what am I supposed to say?
It depends. There's got to be a range.
No, no, no,
Everything's
no.
delicious with you. It's
No,
like it's either
that's
bad
not
or it's
true.
delicious.
Have I talked about the nasty ass cranberries?
Okay.
I don't call them delicious.
Okay.
They're horrible.
Okay.
They're not delicious.
Think
They're
of something.
rank.
Think of something that tastes good.
Little Debbie snack cakes.
What are they?
They're yummy. They're delicious.
Jesus, twice.
They're. What do you want me to say?
It's not. It's. You can't use it for every time something tastes good. You can't say this is delicious every time.
Dude, this is America.
Watch yourself.
I can say it as mate. Don't tell me what to do.
I can get
say
pissed off.
delicious all that I want.
I can get as pissed off as I
Here's
want.
my question.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say?
I don't care what you say.
Instead of delicious. Well, yeah, you do.
Well, okay.
'Cause we're on week 2 of this
Your Honor,
discussion.
if I can approach the bench. I reserve
Sustained.
the right to secretly hate you about different things as we go through life and then randomly blow it all out at you. Just out of the blue, episode 200, I'll be like, will you quit wearing those glasses every time? It'll just come out of nowhere and you'll be like, what the hell? That's me.
And that's how the podcast ended.
That's how it is.
I just want to know, what word do you want people to use?
If I heard you use other things than delicious, it tastes fine. It tastes. The taste is pleasing to my senses. It's penultimate.
But buddy, it's the only word that's out there to describe when food tastes really good.
No, it's scrumptious.
Okay,
Oh,
scrumptious.
this is savory.
Savory.
I swear, if you say scrumptious, the podcast ends that next day. It's
You-
over, and
but
I delete them all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I anybody asked me about it, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I never did a podcast.
Okay, so if you have a cookout, God forbid you make a burger that I like, this
You better not say it's delicious.
Mike, this is savory. See, that sounds stupid.
It does.
Yeah.
But you're kind of got me on the spot here. I got to look up a thesaurus.
Okay.
Here. I'm going to go into the thesaurus. I can't even say the word. Enter to win.
You get to win a thesaurus?
God. Delicious synonyms. Okay. These are things you can say. Appetizing.
That sounds just proper.
Delectable.
Appetizing sounds like this filled my stomach.
Delightful.
Delightful.
I had a delightful ice cream sandwich today.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Darin, I had some distinctive gummy bears.
Distinctive?
Darin, we had a steak this past weekend and it was enjoyable.
Lame.
It was enticing.
That sounds like I had a steak and it was very enjoyable. It was distinctive.
It was exquisite. It was, in a word, heavenly.
Yeah.
Antonyms:
Okay.
distasteful.
Gross. It was distasteful.
I want to tell a waiter sometime that this was distasteful.
This is very
This
distasteful.
taco, sir, was distasteful.
Yeah.
Bland, disagreeable,
Right.
displeasing, horrible, dull, nasty,
Nasty.
and bad.
And bad. So I'm allowed to say scrumptious.
Don't say scrumptious.
Okay.
Say it's delectable.
Delectable. Okay.
Don't say it to me, though. Say it
Okay.
to somebody you don't know.
No, because I
Yeah.
work from home.
Okay.
I don't see other people
Say
besides Libby, the kids, and you.
My favorite one on that list, you want me to tell you what it was? Distinctive.
Distinctive.
Because people don't know how to take that.
This is
It could be distinctively
this
bad.
Is distinctive.
Yeah, this is distinctive.
Well,
is this the anus?
Well, that describes you going to Reno, Nevada. This place is really distinctive.
It is. Yeah.
That means nothing when it comes to how the food
It
tastes.
sparks conversation.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Just saying. I got the Jackbox on the Xbox. I got all the Jackboxes.
I have no idea what that means.
It's like you like game shows.
Yeah.
It's a game show like thing that we play. You play on your phone, your pad, and it's on the thing over there. We can do this, and you can have an audience stream in with you. It's something that we can do with our patrons at some point. We can like make them be part of the game.
Can we play Pressure
It'll be
Luck?
fun. It's hilarious.
Okay.
It's fun.
I don't like when you say hilarious because you're always saying that funny things are hilarious. I want you to say, like, that amuses me. That makes me laugh perfunctorily.
Is this what you're going to do?
Yeah.
Is this where we're going?
Yeah, that's where we're going.
Okay. All right. You know what the best thing for a verbal podcast is?
What's that?
Is for the hosts to start censoring each other, what they can say.
Yeah.
Darin, I think what you just said is priceless. Laughable, uproarious. As opposed to my solemn, tiring, and tragically unfunny
Priceless
diatribe.
still doesn't make it funny.
I know. I love those because they're like, people don't know.
Wow, that
He said it was distinctive.
that Bill Burr was priceless.
He has a distinctive style.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Irritable Dad Syndrome was brought to you by Diff Liquid Concentrated Wallpaper Stripper and listeners like you. Thanks.
Real quick, I wanted to talk about something else. I've been, I'm talking about losing my mind and forgetting things, and I forget concerts. When I worked at the TV station, there were many, many, many times where I would print something, okay?
Yeah.
And then I'd go over to the printer, and I would stand there and wait, and it turns out I didn't hit okay.
Yeah.
So you go back, go to the printer. So that was, Darin's loses his mind. Now my thing is, when I do my own laundry, I will put the soap pod into the washer. Okay. Put the clothes in.
Yeah.
And then did I put a soap pod in there? Right. So then I had to rifle through all the clothes. And then, yes, I did. Okay, Papa.
Yep.
Let's take you to the, the retirement home. And then I start my laundry.
I do the exact same thing.
That's like if you forget if you turned off the stove, all I got to do is look at the stove. By the way, when I say that, Libby is instantly going to go, I need to check the stove. Yeah, because that's her thing. But my thing is I forget the soap pod when I put it in the washing machine.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not great, or I am crazy, just not where this.
It's just one of those things that everybody does. I think. Well, I don't know. We may be the exact same crazy. I think we figured out a long time ago that we share at least 98% of our genetics, and your autobiography. You might as well put my name on it too.
Yes,
because we've had the same. It was like, you liked Red Twizzlers. I did. I like Red Twizzlers.
Yeah. My friends Larry and Debbie Hanley went to the football game with us last Friday, and they bought Red Twizzlers and let me have some of them, and I ate almost half of them. I'm like, take these back because I'm going to eat all of them.
Every time I see a Red Twizzler, I think that's disgusting. Give me one. Yeah, and I eat it, and then I eat damn near the whole bag.
They're very tasty.
You feel like you need an exorcism
when
after.
I eat one of those. It makes me feel really good in my stomach because they're so enjoyable.
Are they delectable?
They're delectable.
I don't think they're edible,
and they're moist.
Ooh.
Wait. Guys, we're gonna go, but real quick before we go, rejected show titles for last week's episodes.
We had some good
last
ones.
Week we had a 3-way tie for number one. It was between it's getting a little fuggy in here. Man, that beaver looks yummy. And what we went with was,
what did we call it?
What was the name of last week's episode?
I don't remember. It literally just came out today.
Yeah. What the? Oh, it's getting a little
presumptuous. Oh my!
There's some premature adjudication going on.
Premature adjudication.
Thank you.
I will say that I didn't even put up as an option for the patrons. Man, that beaver looks yummy. Because I knew it would win immediately.
And we would have gotten
there's
flagged
no way.
so hard.
There's no way I'm calling, man,
Yeah.
that beaver looks yummy. I would get, Bess would say, Mike, we need to talk about your podcast titles.
Yeah. The other two options were the girl, the female, the woman. And
I personally enjoyed that one.
And my favorite, one of my favorites was My Headache is in My Head. And they're all great show titles, so those are ones we didn't pick. All right, we're going to wrap things up. Thanks for sticking with us on this one. Mike and I fought the whole time, but we'll be okay. We've enjoyed doing this, and we hope you enjoyed listening to it. And if you do enjoy listening to it, then go to irritabledadsyndrome.com where you can listen to. There's like 109 other episodes on that site, and we've got a lot of really great episodes that we're very proud of.
There's a link to Patreon.
Patreon.
I've updated the Patreon site, so now everything is categorized. So if you want to hear only bonus audio, you click bonus audio, and all the posts are there with that.
Sweet.
All the posts for the video are a category, and all the ad-free episodes are a category. So we had a lot more bonus audio than I thought we did on there. We've got like 35, 40 posts of audio on there.
Now, have you posted the recent?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, those are on there.
Yeah, the episode last week from episode 109, we had like a good 10 minutes of audio.
Yeah.
That's, and it's good stuff, too.
We have some things on there that I completely forgot about.
Yeah.
Just some good stuff.
So check it out. I mean, and seriously, if you want to do $1 a month or if you want to do a little bit more, it's really worth the time.
Yeah, $1 gets you damn near everything. And then there's a few things. I mean, we put some of the more racy stuff. we want people to throw some money in the hat before we go there. Yeah.
But the money helps us keep this thing going. So
thank you all.
Yeah, thank you very much. We hope to see you again on Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Well, I don't know about you, Peppy, but I had a great time.
I had a great time with your wife.
Now, Peppy, stop talking like that.
Your wife likes it when I talk like that.
Okay, that's it. I don't have to take this from a stupid puppet. We'll see you next week.
Hey, I was just kidding. Don't put me back in there. Come on, Dave.
Hey. Time for a few fart jokes. Where would a comedy show be without a few fart jokes? Question. Did you ever have to fart on a bus or an airplane or in some public place, but you hadn't been farting all that day, so you didn't really know the nature of the beast? You only knew there was lots of it. In a situation like that, what you have to do is to release a test fart. You have to arrange to release quietly and in a carefully controlled manner about 10 to 15% of the total fart in order to determine if those around you can handle it. Or if in fact you may be about to precipitate a public health emergency. When releasing a test fart, it is often good to engage in an act of subterfuge, such as reaching for a magazine. Say, is that Golf Digest? That doesn't smell too horrifying. In fact, in an odd way, it's rather pleasant. I think they ought to enjoy the rest of this baby. And it turns out to be one of those farts that would strip the varnish off a footlocker. A fart that could end a marriage. And everyone around you heads for the exits. Even the people on the airplane. As you realize, it is time to review your fiber intake. It might not be necessary, after all, each morning to eat an entire wicker swing set. I have no ending for this, so I take a small bow.
All right, I'm going to push stop on this.